So what's up, everyone? We got breaking news. The Milwaukee Bucks just trade for Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday gets traded to the Bucks, and the Pelicans get 3 first-round draft picks, Eric Bledsoe and George Hill. Now, if you're new to my channel and you like basketball-related things, please hit that subscribe. I talk all things Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, and basketball-related things. So if you like those type of things, please hit that subscribe. Now, in this video, we're going to get into the real reason why Jrue Holiday got traded to the Bucks. Now, if you remember, the head manager in charge, David Griffin, he made a proclamation last year stating that Jrue Holiday would be the league MVP, that he was challenging Jrue Holiday to become the league MVP. Well, let's hear from David Griffin's words himself.
That's awesome. And a guy that has been there, Jrue Holiday, you said it's his. Now, I think publicly a lot of people look at him, they'll say Zion. You say Jrue Holiday. Why do you say Jrue is the piece?
Because he's a killer. I mean, he's not an 18 or 19-year-old kid who's learning how to play basketball. He's a grown-ass man who knows how to win. He plays both sides of the ball. I really challenged Jrue and said, you can be the most underrated guard in the league for as long as you want to be, but I would rather you want to be MVP. And he almost jumped out of his skin. This is a guy who's capable. We're challenging him to be that guy.
Yeah, you said you asked him, do you want to be the MVP? Do you think that's something he's capable of being?
I do, and nobody thought Steve Nash was, and he was 2-time MVP, and people would have thought we were insane for even uttering that notion. Players in this league are so gifted. When you're as good as Jrue Holiday is, what makes you take the next step is just your vision of self. And sometimes you need to be given permission to dominate people. And in his situation with Anthony around, I think he was always sort of waiting as though it was Anthony's job. And now Jrue knows it's his job, and he's ready to do that.
So there you have it, folks. How did it go from Jrue Holiday being in talks of being an MVP, a potential MVP in the league, to getting traded in the next year? And I'm going to give you 2 reasons. The first reason being David Griffin himself. Well-meaning, Jrue Holiday is not an MVP level player. He's your 3rd best player on a championship level team. And that's why, for the most part, it couldn't work in New Orleans when he was the 2nd guy. Jrue Holiday is more suited to being the 3rd piece. Great player, has a lot of intangibles, very, very underrated, but he can't be your 2nd option. And shame on David Griffin for putting that unneeded pressure on him. Because David Griffin proclaimed, hey, Jrue Holiday, I want you to become an MVP, something that you're a great player, but not MVP level player. You've seen Jrue Holiday not being able to play himself. He wasn't able to play his game. He was slowing up the offense, making ISOs, just trying to do too much. Another reason that we got to explain is also the head coach at the time, Alvin Gentry. Alvin Gentry just never allowed Lonzo to properly run the offense. Instead, he was going through Jrue Holiday. So imagine you're seeing your starting lineup, but your past first point guard, again, your past first point guard isn't running the offense. Rather, it's your shooting guard running the offense, and your past first point guard is playing off the ball. It makes absolutely no sense. So those leading the team and things like that, Jrue Holiday is a great guy. He has a lot of things in his toolbox, but because of the coach at the time not properly establishing roles, he had to go. In fact, if the coach had just properly established roles, if Jrue Holiday didn't have that unneeded pressure of potentially being a league MVP, Jrue Holiday would still be on the team. Like, I feel like a lot of hate went towards Jrue Holiday for no particular reason, actually. There was a reason, but it wasn't his fault. He just wasn't playing in his role. They were telling Jrue Holiday to play more than his role, and that came from David Griffin and the head coach. That's all. So when I see Eric Bledsoe and George Hill coming to the squad, George Hill a solid role player, Eric Bledsoe is essentially a less everything that Jrue Holiday can do, Eric Bledsoe could do, just not as proficient, essentially. I wouldn't say a poor man's Jrue Holiday, but it's not a trade that you exactly go crazy for either. But it is what it is. If Eric Bledsoe can come onto the team and just play his role, I'm fine with that. If he just comes onto the team, he knows what his role is to play the 2 guard or whatever the case is, fine. Because right now, the Pelicans have too many point guards. We just got Bledsoe, who's a guard, and George Hill, who's also a guard. We also got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's also a guard. So we got quite a few guards. JJ Redick is also a guard. So Frank Jackson, he also plays in the guard spot as well. So we got a ton of guards. So I don't know if Bledsoe and George Hill will be used as trade pieces potentially. I don't know. It maybe will Nickeil Alexander-Walker be considered a trade piece? These are all questions you gotta ask. So far, I don't know how the direction of the team is going. I know I've really wanted to see if that Miami trade would happen, if we could get Bol potentially, but not Bol. This guy. Well, I wanted Bol from the Nuggets, but I wanted Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat. But I guess that trade couldn't happen. It was something I wanted to see, but it didn't seem likely. And with the Nuggets, I heard reports saying that they wouldn't trade for Michael Porter Jr. just for Bol. And not even Bol was on the thing. So I guess we got what we got. We got 3 first-round picks. So I don't know if we're going to use those picks. We're going to use those picks to get some other pieces. So this is a good trade all in all. Again, Jrue Holiday, I think he's a great player. When the team started gelling, that's when Jrue Holiday was playing more so in his role. But it is what it is. We'll see what the future on holds. What we really need is 5. We need another wing player and we need another center. So I don't know if the pieces that we have, we can get a marquee free agent or trade for a reputable center. But it's your boy for all to Envy Gang. You already know what time it is. I'm out.